And make sure that we have enough light. All right, that should do it. Okay. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. And yes, hiatus from last week because it was honestly it was a process to work it into the schedule. I thought it would be a lot more simple than it was, and it wasn't. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and integrate as I normally do. Let's see here. We'll go live on. Actually, today, I'm going to go live on Facebook, and then I'm going to post it to YouTube. I have my reasons. I'll discuss it in a second once I'm live so that I don't have to repeat myself. So here we go. Let's get on over here to Facebooky. And I may have to start this over depending. Okay, I need to make sure it's going to allow me. Share on my timeline, share to a page. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're almost there. All right, here we go. We're connecting. All right, it looks like we are live on Facebook as well as Zoom. And I'm just waiting for the image to come up so I can see myself here. And check the image. Yep, we got a clear image. Okay. Okay, let me make sure I can hear myself. Waiting for the image to come up so I can see myself here. Okay, looks good there. I'm going to turn this off so that I can pay attention and not be have my attention split. But I am going to comment right now. Let's see if enter full screen. I'm not sure. I want to do this. Okay, we're going to come down. Okay. Okay. Give me one more second because I want to be able to see the chat as well and be able to interact with you should anyone decide to join me live today. So let me go over here. All right, just one more second here. You know, there have been changes to Facebook Live. All right, yep, okay. And I can see myself. Check it one more time. These notifications are off. Uh-oh, I think that, uh-oh. Let me go over here. Oh, it booted me out. Okay, so we're gonna have to do this again. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. It's showing that we're live, but I cannot see it, so I'm a little confused. Let me try to access it one more time. If you see me and you are here with me, please post and let me know so that I know that you're here with me, because I believe that it's showing that we're live, but I cannot see it, so I'm a little confused. Let me, for whatever reason, try to access it one more time. It was if not you showing see it. Me and you, so I'm going to say good evening, are here with me, please post. All right. Okay. And let me know so that I know that you're here with me, because I believe that it's showing that we're live, but I cannot see it. So okay, so you can now hear that I can hear both feeds. I just wanted to make sure that I am live in both places. And let's get this screen up so that I can best communicate with you. All right. So this should be very, very interesting. All right. Well, good evening. I am Tigress Sydney Acute McDaniel, your host of Evolve Weekly. And we are handling a 52-week series on how to implement a more perfect union. We've been going from state to state to state across the United States of America to survey the political landscape, more specifically, the political culture, if you will, of each state's legislature, so that we can all get connected and get involved. This involvement does not take a lot of your time, nor does it take some type of expertise. And this is what this platform is about, to completely eliminate all intimidating factors of the realm of politics and get us all involved so that we can change the direction of the path of the United States toward our collective and individual evolution. And that can't happen. As much as I have told you a million times over, that cannot happen without legislation. I wish it could. I most sincerely wish that it could, but that's not how it works at all. Not even remotely so. All right. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna do just a little more housekeeping here. I need to be able to see both screens. We're gonna make this work here. There we go. There we go, honey. All right. So we're gonna begin with my affirmation. Some of you know it. Join along if you do. Here it goes. May I not cause further divide, and may I instead inspire, encourage our collective enlightenment and understanding and overstanding of the topics that we will cover throughout this series. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward. We're going to be handling Wisconsin this go round, okay? Please be mindful that you are welcome to post any of your questions that you may have. I can see them in real time and intend to interact with you in real time. This is not the Tigress Show. This is not elect Tigress McDaniel Show. This is us, we the people, citizens of the United States of America, coming together to develop a plan together in a democratic fashion, in the fashion of those who are on the right side of justice, to think objectively together and help implement a plan that will lead us to a more perfect union. Everybody has been talking a good game, and you don't know me just to talk, honey. If I'm talking, then we talking about something, honey, and that something is going to lead us to a plan. And that plan is a plan of action, not a plan of, well, let's just sit and talk about it, and we'll have another meeting about it later, and then another meeting, and we'll continue to meet about it indefinitely, okay? We're handling we're handling effectually 52 states in 52 weeks, okay? And I'm not making a claim that I can solve all of America's problems with this proposed plan, but I am vehemently, confidently, lovingly, and you all know how I feel about love. Love is not just some passive, sappy emotion. It is deliberate. It is intentional. It is considerate. It is thoughtful. And we need this type of plan in action if we are to see the change that we truly want. And not the change that is just the lip service of change, because we hear that all the time. We're talking about change in action. Just like some of you who follow my platform, Tigress is a Verb, you don't know me to just be a noun. I'm not just a person, place, or thing. We've got plenty of the person, places, or things, right? We've got plenty of them. We're overflowing with public figures, honey. Overflowing. We need action, and not just talk of action, not like the facade of action, not I get elected and then I pretend to do something for the people for the amount of time, for my election term, my 2 years, my 4 years, maybe even in some cases, unfortunately, and I disagree that anybody should just be there consistently 6 years, especially if they ain't doing correct? And I intend to inspire you to run for office. That brings me to another point. And this is why I decided to go live specifically today on Facebook, as opposed to going live on YouTube, as I have been going live for the first 30 weeks of this series. And some of you may be looking at this and saying, wait, 30 weeks? You mean to tell me you've been doing this every week for the last 30 weeks? I am Queen Get Her Done, honey. Yes, I'm here. And this is the point. This is part of the point that I need to make. Evidently, there was a bit of a wave. And when I say a wave of subscribers that I received last week. And my YouTube channel got up to 53 subscribers. Now, you all know me not to be the type to obsess over a blue check or number of followers, or because I actually am a true economist and a businesswoman with aptitude. I look at analytics, the analytics behind the scenes that a lot of YouTubers, a lot of public figures with Facebook pages or Instagram pages and all that jazz, they will not show you. They will not show you behind the scenes. They'll only show you what they want you to see. And in my case, I've actually shown that even through this platform by showing you directly me logging in and sharing my screen, which I'm going to share my screen here in a second. My viewership is upwards to $30,000. Excuse me, 30,000. $30,000, 30,000 viewers on average throughout the week. Fluctuates. Some posts you all are, are very, very popular, and then some posts may receive what you see instead will be maybe 10 views or 20 views. What I see behind the scenes is a very different thing. So this tells you that I have a lot of ghost followers. My ghost followers, you all are committed as fuck. And I can appreciate your concern. I do. I can appreciate your concern. And I mean appreciate in the academic sense of the definition. I understand, I apprehend your concern. Because there's so many conflicting stories out there as it relates to me. Tigress Sydney Acute McDaniel, born Tasha Renee McDougal. And it's for me, you have to understand I'm living my life. So I know best what's going on in my life. We have to admit that, right? We have to admit that. Now, yes, there are some people who are not going to be foretelling about what's going on in their life. But as you can see, I have become effectually an open book because I know that I want to engage you. I know that in order for us to make the changes happen that we want to see happen, I need to be transparent. And thankfully, that works well with my resting disposition. I've always been transparent. I've always been a truth sayer. And those who have known me for umpteen years, know me in high school, even elementary school, I've always been outspoken. I'm the same individual. Not to say that I haven't, matured, quote unquote, seen some things, traveled, all those things, expanded my cultural awareness outside of my own cultural diversity, right? And in so doing, realizing that people the naysayers, if you want to call them that, or haters, there are all these type of terms that are out there for it. Good guys versus the bad guys. Generally, people know. Come on, honey, I'm the good guys. I've always been the good guys. It's how I was raised. It's my thing. We all have our thing. Some people, they like to be the bad guys. That's their thing. Hey, honey, you do your thing. I'm doing me. Okay. And so with someone who is so consistent, right? There are individuals who are waiting for, oh, we want her to slip, we want to see her slip up, and then we'll use that. We'll crucify her with this nugget of information, right? And in my case, it's a pretty substantial nugget, right? Because you see a felony conviction, right? And it's been drugged through the mud since I've run for office, from 2013 to present day, honey. Go and look it up. Just Google, my name is unique. So just Google Tigress Sydney Acute McDaniel, and you'll find something out there related to a felony conviction. But if you're thinking with your right mind and you analyze the libelous articles, and for those of you who are not familiar with the term, libel is defamation that is written or published, right? So if you see this libel and then you say, well, and if you know, especially if you know me, so if you're like, okay, well, hold on, because this is not the same person. This is not the same person that was top 10% of her high school graduating class when there were 237 people. She was at the top. So that means out of 24 people, I'm amongst the 24 people who had the highest grades, right? She's a scholar athlete, Dudley ladies, varsity cheerleader, all these things, right? All junior civitan, Miss Junior civitan, blah, 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 right? And then juxtapose the fact that I've been real this entire time. I refuse to not be real. And I'm thankful that of all the things that I've learned from my father and my mother, it's to be real and to be a lady of my word. You can't do that and be consistent for the 44 years that I've been on this earth and have someone in their right mind believe the smut that you've seen in the papers. Now, alternatively, if you don't know me, you're just like, okay, well, you see what's in the paper, and then you associate politics with negative anyway, right? Just the same way, unfortunately, there is a stereotype for a lot of different professions or cultures, right? And we know those stereotypes are generalizations. And we know that, unfortunately, some stereotypes, they hold true, but not for everyone. So whereas I am of Haitian descent and Native American descent and proud to be Black, from the hood, proud to be from the hood, experience a wrongful conviction, experience 2 years in prison. You have to look at the entire picture. When you look at the entire picture, and I'm not even going to go into my accolades. You look them up, honey. They're there. They're there. You just gotta, when you get to the libelous article, go ahead and read it. Knock yourself out. Read the whole thing. So it's there, honey. At this point, I have a hefty lawsuit that is moving forward against them. Okay? So read it, because they're gonna make me a multi-millionaire by keeping it up. Okay. And then I can do even more good with that money. Understand that if you just do a little bit more homework, you do your homework for everything else, right? Even if you half-ass it, you'll find all kinds of stuff out there, honey, that's super, super damn positive. And just can't be possibly the case if I was out here living as foul as they suggest. That said, I lost that entire influx of subscribers. I don't know how. There have been posts that have been recently shared with me. Well, they were shared some time ago in July of 2020, and I'm just seeing them. Please understand that I don't often check my personal Facebook Messenger because I'm very business. And that's not to slight anyone. I appreciate you all reaching out to me. I'm not in hiding. I just keep my personal Facebook pages completely private for the sake of being able to have that, have something for myself. My life is my own, not yours. It's mine. Am I doing something that you need to see on my personal Facebook page, something sensational? Honey, I'm about as corny will get, okay? So if you need to see pictures of me and my son going to going to a museum or going to some new restaurant, trust me, you can go on over to YouTube to our family channel and you'll find the same stuff there, okay? But having conversations with my immediate family, not allowing you to have access to them, protecting their privacy as they continue to have relationships with me, that's what's most important to me. So I'm not necessarily hiding from you, but I am making sure to protect them from you because I want a constant relationship with them and I can't be with them 24/7. A lot of us live in different places and I want to connect with them as much as I possibly can in whatever mode that I possibly can. And that can't be yours. It's non-negotiable, okay? And we're already at 7:32, so I'm trying to just make sure this is out there so we don't have no more confusion. And so hopefully those of you who thought, okay, I want to subscribe, right? Because it went from 5 to 53, then it just kind of held steady there for, I don't know, a couple of days between 22 and 20. And now I look at when I signed in this evening and saw that I was back to 5. So I'm not sure what you saw, but in my field, and I'm not necessarily talking about the science aspect of it, I'm talking about the investigative, right? Law enforcement aspect of it when I was a former park ranger. I know they told you I was out here just doing all kinds of stuff. Honey, I done had some federal jobs, honey. Yes, I have, okay? And rightfully so, and still am able to return, I'm eligible for rehire, honey, at the GS-13 level at this point, okay? All right. So the point I'm making is that if whatever you saw, and please tell me, because please understand, I cannot healthily on a daily basis scour the internet looking for something negative that someone said about me. Honey, I don't do that. I do firmly believe in a universal system. Some call it karma. We can give it a name, but I believe that the energy that you put out is the energy that will return to you. And you see, how would I be this continuously successful, not just surviving? I've lived well for this entire time, more so than a lot of you. I'm not a millionaire, but I don't often have unmet needs. I don't often have unmet wants. Again, not a millionaire. I don't even pull in six figures at this juncture, but we live exceptionally well. If those things were true, I would not be able to rent the apartments and the homes that I have, travel to the places and do the things that I've been able to do. Now, yes, there are always going to be individuals who are going to be in those sectors who are going to have stumbled across information about me, bad information, inaccurate, false information about me, and then try to use it against me. But I guarantee you, every single time, the trap that they set for me becomes the trap for them instead. And I keep right on surviving and thriving. Don't I look like I'm thriving, honey? I am. I live within my means. I'm happy. I drink my water. I'm doing positive things. I'm teaching my son positive things. I'm loving in verb form. Okay? So if you saw something and you were like, oh, this is sensational, this is that minstrel bullshit, let's go and subscribe because we're going to get some of that good old smut TV over here at Tigress McDaniel on YouTube. And then you decided not to follow me because you saw the consistency. The consistency is that this is just good, clean news, honey. Enlightened news. I don't have nothing sensational for you. I think the only video I can help you out with is when I had to cuss somebody out. I had to cuss a couple of somebodies out in one video as it related to YouTube, thinking that they were going to gatekeep my scientific expertise when none of them qualify. Okay, so come on back and join me. It's a safe space. It's a wholesome space. We're learning over here together. When I visit these legislative websites of these states, we're learning together. Yes, generally, for some of you, you will feel like I have more information going into this than you do. And that's okay. You should be cool with this because I'm a apt guide. I'm a trustworthy, excuse me, apt guide into this process. But that's what we're doing over here. I'm not trying to stir up mess and do all those things. I'm trying to figure out how we can figure out what the hell we're doing as a united nation and have some solidarity because we're all here. Few of us have decided that, of my culture, few of us have said, hey, F this stuff. And hold on, because I've told you this before. I don't mind editing myself in one regard. But profanity in and of itself is not a vice. Vulgarity is, okay? So let's rewind and let me say what I intended to say. Few African Americans, few Black people, beautiful Black people are saying, fuck this shit, I'm going back to Africa. Half of us don't even know which tribe in Africa, which region in Africa we we descend from. And that I'm not saying in a negative way, it's just our truth. And we're realizing that just about every region on this earth, the habitable earth, is experiencing something that would be problematic, especially for those of us who are African American. Discrimination in the UK, in Paris, the unfortunate murder of one of the civil justice activists, shot in the head, harassed, stalked. So many things that are happening that are going on. And the irony is that of the lesser of evils, when we compare other countries to this country, we say, well, if we do the analysis, and this is in no way, shape, or form, so don't take my words and confuse them. I want to go back to Haiti all day long, but I want to go back to Haiti at its peak, at its enlightened peak. And unfortunately, as we understand, a lot of Haitians see that is deteriorating. And grossly so. So we see my beautiful cultural neighbors or cultural cousins fleeing to America for a better life, for safe, the weather-wise, climate-wise, it's generally safer. There's not a catch-all that they won't move here and be impacted by a tornado or lose their life in a wildfire. But comparatively, same for Afghanistan. They're dealing with the coup that is going around and literally saying, okay, all of y'all who were impacted or enlightened by the United States Army and other forces that were here for all these years, they're literally assassinating them all. So if we're all running to this country, and we know that this country still has its problems. This country still has its problems, honey. Some pretty major ones. But comparatively, it's a safer place. So then we need to come together and figure this shit out. And plan and implement for this more perfect union. And ain't no two ways about it. Let's head on over to Wisconsin. Understand, again, that if you want to follow me, honey, follow me. If you want to do something positive, follow me. If you want to do something wholesome, if you're tired of listening to sensational ass bullshit news that you can't believe, then follow me, honey. Go ahead and subscribe. Ain't nobody gonna get you for subscribing. You subscribe to the bullshit, you might as well try to figure out and make a left turn and try something more positive. It's just like healthy food, honey. I'm like healthy food. I'm like water. And it's okay. You don't need, this is not high school. You don't need the popular negative troll, all that. Oh, no. You don't need them to co-sign who you subscribe to. If you don't run for office, because keep in mind, I think we all have an understanding. I can't run for every office in America. I think that's understood. I cannot run for mayor in all the counties. I know they told y'all that I am, because even though they try to throw me all kinds of shade with all those lies, they basically, because that I'm just that they're basically in this backwards ass way giving me a really nice compliment when they say, which is still defamatory as shit, right? But when they tell you that I filed 162 cases in 72 counties or something like that in North Carolina, understand, and I know this because of my dissertation, there are 100 counties in North Carolina. So they're telling you 70% of the counties I have visited keep this in mind, in a 2-year span, while running my business, raising my child alone, dealing with CMS, disobeying willfully, maliciously his 504 plan. So I'm telling you effectually that I've been on call, being available for my son 24/7, also pursuing law school, handling the few lawsuits that I actually do have in Mecklenburg County, challenging the wrongful conviction in 2006, because it's like these, the counties where I have civil actions are specific to that wrongful felony conviction. So you got Mecklenburg County, Rowan County, and Rowan County being the county for the bail bondsman, right? Some of you know the story, and she owes me money still to this day, $10,000 and then some. So challenging their attempts to fraudulently dismiss those actions. So I'm basically in these appellate phases, these relief phases in all of these counties, and Cabarrus County, of course, because that's where I was convicted, right? And I'm gonna go 10 minutes over just so I can, we'll get to Wisconsin and we'll handle it again in the next feed. But I thought, let me go ahead and address this. We need to address this just finitely. But yeah, they have you believing that I have 162 cases in 70 counties. And that I filed indigent, which means as a poor person, or informer pauperis, which is the Latin for poor person, which means that I don't pay a fee. Understand that in order to do that, there's a process that you must go through. Sometimes it can be a very lengthy process. You must petition. There's a petition that you fill out. And an affidavit may be required to affirm and show and prove that you actually cannot afford the cost to initiate the action, pay the cost of the court fees. The ridiculousness of even the statement. But it tells you, like I said, in this backward ass way, that I'm apt. So come on over here. I am your most willing and loving guide into the political arena for which I may have a little more knowledge, but I do not have superlative knowledge, honey. And we need to learn this. We need to come together like transformers, put our heads together, put our skill sets together, and do this thing. We can have a more perfect union. Afghanians or Afghanistan people, they don't want to go back. Not right now. Indefinitely so. They're not interested in going back because of the state of affairs there. Haitians are not like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm real cool with earthquakes every other month. That's my jam. How we can't move forward and evolve. We're not going to be able to evolve as a life species at all everything will continue to incrementally and collectively compound in failure if we do not open ourselves to the cultural diversity of this nation, get on one accord, find our common ground, and plan together and institute what was set in place, whether it was intended for Black and brown individuals or not, Black, brown, olive tone, anyone other than the Caucasian race or Europeans or the elite French and Spanish who decided to come over here and say, I wrote my name on the rock that is America, and therefore I discovered it and it is mine. They wrote it. We're going to take advantage, not in a bad way. We're going to positively exploit the fact that in our legislative history, someone said, hey, every 19 years, we need to revisit this, honey. We need to revisit this. This needs to be rewritten by the people of that time. Because otherwise, it's government by force, not by democracy. Woo! I went in, didn't I? I went in, honey. I went in. So break away from high school antics. If you're ghost following me and you're just trying to figure out, you're like, okay, I just want to see, I'm a fall back, I'm a lay back and just watch her and see if she's consistent. According to the numbers, and I guess, it could be the case where a different 30,000 group of people are watching every other day, right? It can happen, but the likelihood based on, the pattern of viewership and analytics, that is very likely a group of that 30,000 that are returning viewers, right? So what I'm saying to you is subscribe. Come to the front seats. I invited some people on Twitter to do the same thing, and I had an influx of new followers. I'm inviting all of my ghost followers to come to the front seats, honey. We're not in the backwoods. I'm not in the backwoods. I'm a good person and I'm living right, honey. I go to the gas station you can come up to me, and people do all the time. Hey, Miss McDaniel. Some people already call him, hey, Dr. McDaniel. Some people, they know how I roll. Hey, Tigress, you doing good things. We appreciate you. I voted for you. Thank you for what you're doing. Some people even come up to me and say, look, I didn't vote for you this time, but my bad. Because I checked out some stuff, and the stuff I was hearing just didn't really make sense. So I decided to do my own research, but I got you next time. I respect those. I respect those people very greatly. So come from the back seats, my darlings. Bring them in. Bring them in. Okay. All right. Let's go over to I can't even say it, right? Wisconsin. Let's go on over to Wisconsin. And then we'll continue with Wisconsin and another state. So we catch up, because we officially lost 1 week because I was trying to incorporate the new schedule into, my life. And, everything's a little extra right now because it's the beginning of school. Some of you know, my son's not at CMS. They didn't offer remote learning. Honey, we're not doing that. Some of you know, and this is another thing that I was going to mention, when you talk about an apt guide, I think that a scientist might come in handy. A scientist who is disconnected, completely disconnected from the status quo, completely disconnected from corruption. Because sometimes they can be different things. The status quo can just be bureaucracy, right? You know, how things are done, protocol, all those things. I'm completely disconnected. I'm not a federal, I don't have a federal position right now. I'm not a federal employee. I do what I want to do, effectually. I run my own business. I'm grateful. I'm infinitely grateful for this OTM. Well, I guess I shouldn't call it OTM yet because I'm not in perpetual leisure. I haven't retired. So I'll say freedom. I'm thankful for this freedom, this economic freedom, if you will. Now, I'm not financially set, but I definitely have this freedom, this detachment from things that can be an influence on how people make decisions, both bad and good, right? I get to be exactly who I intend to be. No one can bully me. They try all the time. Lord knows. Oh, goodness. They try all the time, left and right, left and right, left and right. But I was raised by them, honey. And I'm already potent, okay? All right, so let's go over to Wisconsin. So if you see this and you're new to this, understand that in the future, the intention is just to go on over to YouTube, okay? So come on over to YouTube. And I do need to do it over at YouTube because even though the numbers don't matter, the numbers do matter. And I don't want to, some of you know that I've said this many times over. I've tried it where I raise funds, right? I've tried it, do just like the grassroots. But a lot of you either don't want to donate to my campaigns or my fundraisers for community efforts. And I believe it's twofold. Because you know that I'm Queen Get Her Done and I'll figure it out. You know, I'll figure out how to get it done without your money anyway. So you're like, she don't need my money. We good. She'll figure it out. Which is kind of like, yo, like, really, don't do that. Like, I need, you know, allies too. Come on now. Right? I need support too. I'm not a god. I'm not a goddess. We Black women, we may, you know, kind of playfully tout those things. And it's okay for, you know, the purpose of that. But I know that I'm human, honey. I know I bleed red. Okay? I know I pee and I poop. I catch a cold. I blow my nose. I do all the things that you do. I know I'm completely human, right? I know some people are going to watch this and you're going to say, that's Tigress. And some of y'all going to watch it and be like, I didn't know she was that cool. I get that a lot too. I didn't know you were that cool. Interesting. Interesting. If you go by rumors, honey, then that's what they are. They're rumors. If you don't spend any time with me, if you don't engage me, I'm all over the city. I don't casual, super casual. Sometimes you'll see me in my hat, flip-flops, and then sometimes you'll see me and I'll be fierce to the gods, honey. Right? All right. So please stop it. Just stop it. Stop the nonsense. You can follow me. I'm real. I'm positive. And I intend to be positive until my very last breath. I don't want no beef with nobody. This is a space for good, positive enlightenment, wholesome working together, collaboration, democratic principles, which we understand. Some of those things, you know, like we said, democracy is generally on the right side of justice. But we know we need standards because we need standards. That's civilization. We need that. There's just way too many people with too many thought processes, too many cultural drivers for us not to have a set of protocol and standards. Okay, let's see here. And I just got my reminder. This is a bit of a caveat, but it tells you just, again, just how human I really am. Taraji P. Henson is actually having a live session on self-care. It will have an element of, you know, women's hair. And I intend to join it. It starts at 9 o'clock. So I just got my reminder and I'm just sharing that with you all, whoever sees this, you know, going over. Okay. So let me just kind of, since basically what we ultimately are doing at this point, instead of being able to cover Wisconsin today, I want to show you how this goes. So you feel comfortable coming over to YouTube, right? Oh, and the twofold is you either think, hey, she got it, queen, get her done, don't worry about it. Or you don't have the money yourself to donate. And so this is where you can help, is by subscribing, liking, commenting, because then I can monetize these platforms and do some amazing things. I've done amazing things with a little bit of money and a little bit of resources that I've had over the years. But I can't pinch off of my own finances. I've got a son to raise. I'm getting older. I've got retirement to make sure is in place. I have my family responsibilities outside of myself and my son. Okay? So let's be loving to one another. And subscribing costs you nothing. But the monetization eligibility can mean everything for what we're trying to do. Okay? All right. In this last 8 minutes, let me show you what I'm doing in this 52-week series. It's really pretty straightforward. I'll share my screen with you. So what we're doing is we're surveying the political culture of each state. So we do this very organically together. I show you what I'm typing into the Google search bar so that you become more and more comfortable with doing these searches on your own and landing upon verifiable, trusted, informative resources, right? Okay. We know .gov. That's the right? That's from the horse's mouth, honey. Right? So we go straight there. We are taking a look at the website itself. Asa, my love, will you turn this off for me? And see, I'm really at home. This is not a stage. But don't come to my house acting foolish now. You can come to my house if invited and all those things, but let's all be respectful of one another, right? You've heard me say this before. I will answer my phone with a metal bat, just like Joe Clark. So don't get it twisted, right? We want peace here. Let me have my peace. I'll let you have your peace. We come together, we do positive things, right? Okay. So basically, we take a look at the state legislature website. We immediately take inventory of its design. Is it user-friendly? Is it visually appealing? Does it, have aspects that will increase public valuation? Well, and that's this fancy word, both words, public and valuation, right? value, someone having a value, someone feeling like it's worth it to even visit, right? Having an appreciation for it, feeling like it gives them something in return, some information, like it's worth it. And public is you, right? So do you value what you see when you get to the website, right? Some of the websites that we've already seen, oh my, honey, they're pretty nice. Now, some of the websites we've seen, we give constructive criticism on them. And when I say we right now, I'm saying this because I want you to be a part of the collective, but right now, it has been me sharing my viewpoints in an objective fashion, in a scientific fashion, in an economics fashion, in a legal fashion, you know, all the aspects of my academia. And then as a Black American, African American, Haitian American, Native American, all those things, a woman, a single parent, looking with those eyes or looking through that lens. If you've ever heard that term and you weren't quite sure what it meant, pretty self-explanatory. You're looking through the lens of a single mother. How would a single mother view this? How would a single father view this? How would a two-parent home view this? How would a guardian view this? How would an orphan view this? How, you know, and all those things are relevant. They may not seem like it, but they're relevant. How would someone who is first generation Haitian refugee, how would they view it? And actually, that's a great segue because we have seen a lot of these websites, they don't have translations. Now, there's a caveat to that because there are translations that are inherent to the process of searching on the web, right? And I love that new feature. So they can instantly, you know, use a button, right? And change this to Spanish, translate it to Spanish, translate it to French. But all these things do matter. And we can't say, you know, and just be dismissive and say, oh, well, if you live in the United States, you need to speak English. Well, a lot of our ancestors, if we're honest, when they first came, their English was not that great. But somehow over the generations, we've gotten high and mighty and we've forgotten those things. We've forgotten a lot of humane principles. And that's a big driver for this series as well. So basically then we go in and we got three more minutes. We go in, we go to the Senate. We check out the Senate, see if we got pictures, you know, figure out, is this visually appealing? Does it give us a lot of information? Does it tell, you know, oftentimes we've noticed already, because it's crazy, because it's like, have we handled 30 states already? It don't, my gosh, it doesn't seem like we have, but it's going pretty fast. And we see the minority leadership. We've already figured out, we've defined terms like minority caucus, minority whip, excuse me, not MIP, but whip. Right, and we take a look, and then we count the number of Democrats and Republicans comparatively for both the House and the Senate, right? And then we infer an ethical gauge, whether they're on the right side of justice. And we do have some assumptions, scientific assumptions, which have been defined in the beginning. Scientific assumptions are those parameters, those things that are going to be the constants, what we expect going into it. Not so much as the hypothesis, not so much as those, because those are questions we want to answer. Scientific assumptions are the things that we're going to assume are true for the purpose of the study. based on previous studies, based on previous knowledge. And generally, we know, here's one main assumption for this platform, is that we know that Democrats are generally on the right side of justice, right? Going into that, we also know that we're not going to just completely holistically dismiss all Republicans. So we're looking through it, and we're figuring out if there's diversity. Is there gender diversity? Is there age diversity? Is there cultural, ethnic diversity? Right? Try to get, survey that. Then we're looking at news, if there's any news or if there's any new legislation. Some of them actually highlight, news. It'll say something to the effect of news or laws in consideration, things of that nature. Here we go. Rules, rules with hearings pending. Rulemaking process. Do they give you definitions? Are they walking you through the process? I like the fact that they have this here. I hadn't seen this. We hadn't seen this explicitly before Wisconsin. Citizens Guide to the Legislature, right? How inclusive are they? All of these things are relevant. Publications, briefs, memorandum. Do they have a YouTube channel? Do they have Twitter? Are they active on social media? Are they evolving with the time and with societal changes? What have they been doing during the pandemic? Did they have an election? Or do they have an interim body of incumbents who are serving as legislators in the meanwhile until they can have the next election? And that's what we're doing. This is just the start. This gives us so much information, so much more than you even think would not exist, so that we can come together and make proposals on how we can inspire, not so much as, for some, when you think of unity, you think that we all have to agree on everything. No. Democracy doesn't mean that we agree on everything together. We're not going to become cookie cutter. The United States, humans are not cookie cutter. Even the ones who we joke about are, zombies and just follow the crowd. And we got to sign off here shortly. Let me stop sharing here for a second. Hold on. Where are we at? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Sorry. We're not cookie cutter. We're not. We have very different views, different culture, different subculture. You've heard me refer to them as imagined communities. There are imagined communities within imagined communities within those imagined communities. I'll go into detail about the definitions for those. And in the meantime, go check out all of the other videos, because we've given a lot of definitions, and they're there up on YouTube for your viewing convenience. As we continue along with this 52-week series of how to implement a more perfect union. I am your gracious, willing, loving host, Tigress Sydney Acute McDaniel, Evolve Weekly. Join me next week, 7 p.m. live on YouTube. Have a good one.